Folks, if you're anything like me, which based on the comments, I think a lot of you are, it can often be incredibly frustrating to watch progressives, Democrats, and the media try to combat Republican stupidity, misinformation, and outright lies as if they're not talking to the human embodiment of a brick wall. And what I mean by that is it always seems like Democrats try to embody that Hillary quote of when they go low, we go high, way too much, to the point where they never really directly address the insanity of the other side. They don't push back nearly as much as they should against Republicans in interviews, and they often try to be so politically palatable that Republicans seem to come out winning because they can say whatever the hell they want, no matter how untrue, and they know they're not going to get called on it or humiliated by it. And I feel like this is typically the most egregious in media interviews.
By a wave of violent crime that we have not seen literally in 5 decades.
Actually, Senator, as you probably know, the latest stats on violent crime and on the murder rate, they're actually down this past year. But let me get back to my question.
And in presidential ads. But finally, that is no longer the case. Because at long last, for the sake of our democracy, we have an attack ad against Donald Trump from President Joe Biden that says exactly what needs to be said. This is a message I have been saying, you have been saying in the comments, that Democrats need to shout from the rooftops and run on much more candidly. And that message is reiterating over and over again that Donald Trump is a convicted felon, an abuser, a fraudster, and just a general piece of human garbage. And I'm so happy to say that we have just that for you today, as well as a cherry on top at the end in the form of another ad that blatantly exposes Trump for some even darker and more disturbing reasons. Just as a little teaser for that, I'll only say that right now on Twitter, Epstein Island is trending in the political figures category. And I know you're not going to want to miss the reasoning behind that, so drop a like, subscribe to the channel, and let's get into it. Now, it's no secret that Joe Biden has been in absolute attack mode recently with both the quality of the messaging and the sheer quantity of attack ads he and his campaign have released against Donald Trump. From this one, downright disrespecting him in the debate announcement ad telling Trump to make his day.
Donald Trump lost 2 debates to me in 2020. And since then, he hadn't shown up for debate. Now he's acting like he wants to debate me again. Well, make my day, pal. I'll even do it twice. So let's pick the dates, Donald. I hear you're free on Wednesdays.
Looking like a classic Clint Eastwood in his prime.
Go ahead, make my day.
That's actually a little uncanny, but that ad was an excellent way to lure Trump into their June 27th debate, which let me know in the comments if you think Trump will actually show up for or not. And from that to Biden's attacks on Trump's disrespect towards the military during Memorial Day and D-Day ads, it seems like the Biden campaign is sharpening the blade of their messaging, not only making it more targeted and portraying a clear distinction between the two men, but also finally listening to supporters and not backing away from calling Trump exactly what he is. Here is their most recent ad doing just that.
In the courtroom, we see Donald Trump for who he is. He's been convicted of 34 felonies, found liable for sexual assault, and he committed financial fraud. Meanwhile, Joe Biden's been working, lowering healthcare costs and making big corporations pay their fair share. This election is between a convicted criminal who's only out for himself and a president who's fighting for your family.
I'm Joe Biden, and I approve this.
I couldn't have summed it up better. This election is between a convicted criminal who's only out for himself and a president who's fighting for your family. Because let's be honest, folks, Joe Biden actually has a proven legislative track record that he can run on. The CHIPS Act, the Build Back Better infrastructure bill, a booming economy, relieving student debt, protecting reproductive rights, addressing climate change, and so many more things that are tangible and affecting regular Americans. And what, I ask you, does Donald Trump have to tout? 34 felony convictions, a half-assed border wall, tax cuts for the rich, dismantling Roe v. Wade and packing the courts, being a politically persecuted victim? That is the strong man and trail of broken promises you want to put your vote behind? Seriously? MAGA folk are giving BDSM lovers a run for their money in the masochism department. Because not only do they get nothing for voting for Trump, they actually get less than that because his policies actually hurt them. Even his most xenophobic calling card of addressing the crisis at the border is nothing more than a campaign slogan to rile up hateful bigots who can't deal with their own crappy lives and feel the need to blame it on hardworking immigrants or refugees fleeing violence in their own country and seeking asylum. If Trump actually wanted something done about the border, he wouldn't have stopped Republicans from passing bipartisan border legislation. Joe Biden, on the other hand, a man who actually knows how to get things done in government, made an executive order to actually address the border after it was clear the sycophantic MAGA cultists in Congress wouldn't even address their claimed biggest concern at Trump's behest. So call him a criminal, call him a fraudster, say it loud and say it damn proud because it is true. And as if all that wasn't enough or didn't cross the line of MAGA Republicans' love of the rule of law or their Christian values, Donald Trump is, as we'll see in this next brutal ad, a serial predator. And not just any predator, but one who likes them young.
Charges that Jeffrey Epstein was running a sex trafficking ring in the early 2000s that included underage girls as young as 14 years old.
Donald Trump in 2002 said of Epstein, he's a lot of fun to be with. It's even said that he likes beautiful women as much as I do, and many of them are on the younger side.
You were playing tennis and you came off the court. Quote, look at that piece of I would love some of that. It so happened that Trump was referring to Cohen's then 15-year-old daughter, Samantha.
I'll go backstage before a show, and everyone's getting dressed and ready and everything else. And I'm allowed to go in because I'm the owner of the pageant, and therefore I'm inspecting it. I standing there with no left.
Donald Trump is heard making questionable comments about a young girl.
A lawsuit against the presumptive GOP nominee alleges he raped a girl when she was 13 years old.
You know about sexual predators and things like that. I mean,
you are one.
All right, I was going to say that. But
here's a tweet the other day from Donald Trump Jr. that got a community note because it says, you know who's not on the Epstein list? My father. Because if he was, it would have leaked in about half a second. That's a fact. And of course, he's quote tweeting Charlie Kirk, one of the most despicable human beings out there. And the community note reads, Donald Trump was on Epstein flight logs at least 7 times. Here are the receipts straight from the court records in the Ghislaine Maxwell case. You know, I had a friend tell me a story recently about talking to a Trump supporter, and after rattling off all the despicable things Trump had done, the supporter, to his credit, actually agreed that Trump had done all those horrible things, which is more than you can say for most Magadonians, right? But after presented with all that evidence, when asked if he would still vote for Trump, the supporter said yes. And when my friend asked him why, his response was, because the guy is funny. What kind of a sick do you have to be to think that any of that is funny? Thank you for watching, folks. Here's hoping we continue to see this level of attack ad continue to come from the Biden camp, and maybe even see some other Democrats take note. Because it's time to stop tiptoeing around who and what Donald Trump is, and time to take a stand and shout the facts loud and clear. If you made it this far, we'd greatly appreciate you dropping a like on the video, subscribing to the channel, hit that notification bell, and let me know all your thoughts in those comments down below. For Really American, I'm Kenny Hesse, and I'll see you guys in the next one.